Well, welcome everyone to the City of Menifee Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission meeting for Thursday, February 6th, 2025. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. And Ms. Mitchell, can you give us a roll call? Or
I'll give the roll call.
all right, thank you.
Chair Faust.
Here.
Vice Chair Tremblay.
Here.
Commissioner Gidroyce.
Here.
Commissioner Sanchez.
Here.
And Commissioner Peterson.
Thank you very much. I've asked Commissioner Tremblay to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to just take a minute and welcome Commissioner Tom Gidroy to the commission, representing District 2. He was just appointed Wednesday? Yeah, just yesterday. So, and he is, if you are aware and been watching PRTC meetings for a few years, Tom was on the Parks Commission prior. And he's also currently serving as a Parks Commissioner for the County of Riverside, too. So he brings a lot of experience and institutional knowledge to the commission. We appreciate having him here. We're now at item number 4 on the agenda, selection of chair and vice chair. And so each year we have an opportunity to, the commissioners to appoint or reappoint the chair of the commission and the vice chair. And so I'd like to ask for any nominations at this time. Go ahead.
I would like to nominate Laz for chair.
I appreciate it. I was actually going to nominate Commissioner Faust for chair.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Faust also.
Me as well.
Okay. Thank you. I'll accept that nomination. I appreciate that. Your support, an opportunity to serve, continue to serve one more term. So can I have a vote for chair then? All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
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 Okay, unanimous. And then now nominations for vice chair. I'd like to nominate Laz Peterson for vice chair.
I would love to accept that nomination.
Any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Laz as well. Agreement.
Okay.
Likewise.
Laz as well.
Okay, then it's unanimous. That Laz Peterson is our vice chair. Thank you very much for your support and Laz for your service. Okay, now we're at item number 5, presentations, 5.1, Community Services Department, Employees of the Quarter.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. I'd like to present to you our Community Services Department Employees of the Quarter. So every quarter, we nominate our coworkers, those who have demonstrated excellent customer service skills, teamwork, and initiative. This past quarter, 4 employees were nominated. From there, 1 part-time and 1 full-time employee was selected based on their ability, as I mentioned, to exemplify the qualities that make our department so awesome. Excellent customer service abilities, teamwork capabilities amongst our peers in other divisions, and initiative and proactiveness. So at this time, can I please ask our commissioners to come forward to help present a plaque to our employees of the quarter? First, I'd like to invite our part-time employee of the quarter, Jeanette Deliano, to come forward to be acknowledged. Jeanette was nominated by several of her coworkers, and I'd like to pass it over to Nancy now to introduce her.
Hi, everybody. I work very closely with Jeanette. She's kind of a lot of the times the person that I rely on. She gets along with everybody. She works really hard at work and outside of work. She's always been responsible. She's one of the biggest parts of our admin division. She runs the field allocations, which for me is just the hardest responsibility, and she does a great job every season. She receives recommendations from the league representatives, how well she's doing and how much she's improved the program. She also helps us with our website and all sorts of other community service tasks. Every nomination, she always gets nominated. Everybody has nothing but good things to say about Jeanette, and I'm super grateful that she's on my team, making my life easier. Yeah, we're looking forward to see what Jeanette can do in the future. She's currently getting her master's, and it's very exciting to see her grow in her career. Thank you, Jeanette. Commissioner Tremblay would like to say a couple of words also.
Thank you, Jeanette. Next is our full-time employee of the quarter, Shanice Jackson. Shanice, can you please come forward? And I'm going to read Shanice's nomination. Shanice has been part of my team for less than a year, yet she has made huge noticeable improvements to her program areas. Participation numbers have increased dramatically under her coordination, from 127 flag football participants in 2023 to 360 plus 97 waitlisted this past season. Trot for a Cause numbers hit 230 this year, up from 84 from the year prior and surpassing the combined participation of the last 3 years. Her passion for sports, spirited enthusiasm for recreation, can-do positive attitude, and overall team-oriented personality has made her a huge asset to the rec team and the Community Services Department. Additionally, one of her newer team members submitted this unsolicited feedback regarding her leadership. In the time I have been with the city, and particularly since I have been in my current role, she has shown me a role model level of professionalism, guidance, and leadership, particularly how she adapts to changes and challenges and provides me with the necessary tools to meet our goals. I believe in her vision and our clear path, and I thoroughly enjoy working with her. So Shanice, to make a positive impact with your coworkers both above and below is a tremendous achievement, making you the ideal candidate for Employee of the Quarter. Congrats, Shanice.
It's wonderful we have such outstanding employees here in the city of Menifee, and it's an honor to be able to recognize their achievements. We're now at item 6, approval of the minutes. 6.1, December 5th, regular meeting minutes. So we did not meet in January due to the holiday. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes or any suggested edits or changes?
A motion.
Motion to approve. A second?
I'll second that.
All right. Then all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Aye, okay. Minutes have been unanimously approved. We're now at item number 7, agenda approval or modifications. Ms. Mitchell, do we have any modifications to the agenda?
There are no modifications.
Okay. Item 8 is public comments on non-agenda items. I understand we have some folks that want to speak today, which is wonderful. So I need to read this disclaimer. This is the time for members of the public to address the commission about items which are not listed on the agenda. The Ralph M. Brown Act limits the commission's ability to respond to comments on non-agendized matters at the time such comments are made. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes or on any single item. And hopefully, I think we've got just 2, is it?
We
Or
actually have 7 speakers this afternoon.
Awesome. Okay. So would you call the first speaker up? And
Okay, first speaker is Vlad Wojtyla, followed by Tammy Bianco.
yes, right there, please.
Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Vlad Wojtyla. I live at 25814 Ridgemore Road here in Menifee. I submitted earlier a letter to you folks, and I realize the scope of your authority is really more for advisory and working with the other city committees and departments. But I wanted to just point out, for safety's sake, the need for getting to the parks, recreation facilities, trails, schools, other facilities here in the city is important, and to have safe travel corridors. And I just outlined a few things on my list there of things that to be aware of, and see if you can incorporate that as you work with these other departments to really emphasize the need for safe corridors. You know, traffic is a huge problem in the city. It's growing worse and worse every time we get a project approved. So those are things that we need to address and look at the impacts on existing neighborhoods, which is what I was trying to outline in my letter and emphasize that. Otherwise, I'm available for questions, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Voitel.
Tammy Bianco, followed by Lois Schwitzer.
Hi, I'm Tammy Bianco. I live at 25880 Baltrustroll Drive right here in Sun City, which is incorporated into Menifee. And I represent one of many of the bike riders of the Sun City Bike Club. And we've just become aware of a couple of things. One of the things I wanted to talk about is to make intersections where a bike path crosses streets safer. For example, Paloma Wash needs a light to cross La Piedra. The sign says to go to the corner of Han. No one is going to do that. It's very dangerous. The second item is on Salt Creek Trail going west across Normandy. It's very dangerous. One member fell there. Pedestrians and bikes all converge. Possibly separate separate walkers from bikers on the west side. Too many choices is what we're observing. Need separation from pedestrians, bicycles, and cars. Members fell due to no smooth transition from the sidewalk to the dirt. At least fill in the dirt to be flush with the sidewalk. And just as a side note, it probably could prevent problems between somebody who genuinely gets hurt and the city. So it's just something to think about.
Thank you, Ms. Bianco.
Lois, followed by Al Bianco.
Hi, I'm Lois Sweeters. I live at 26730 Menifee Street in Sun City. Thank you for the beautiful Salt Creek path. It's better than most of the paths we've ridden in a lot of the other cities, but it needs an improvement or two, such as the access to the path from the street, such as Marietta Road if you're going south and want to go west on the Salt Creek path. That's a 90-degree turn. If you've ever ridden a bicycle, 90 degrees is not very easy. Plus, you have the light pole right there where you have to turn, and the path right there is not very wide. Sooner or later, somebody's going to collide with that pole. But, and that same thing exists at Bradley now, but I know that with the bridge being built, that's changing. But I hope you guys have looked at the latest plans for what happens to the bike path. I hope there too, there isn't a 90-degree turn. I understand we'll be routed up to Potomac to cross. But please, not a 90-degree turn, a slight bend in the road would be nice. And I would hope you guys have input to all the new projects around town and keep that in mind for any of the bike paths, because sooner or later somebody's going to have a problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sweeters.
Al Bianco, followed by Bill Adams.
Okay, I'm going to talk about green lines. Al Bianco, I live at 25880 Baltrustroll Drive. That's in the Sun City area of Menifee. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now? Thank you. All right. Did you get everything else, though? Do I need to repeat it?
No.
Okay. I'm here to talk about green paint for bike lanes. We'd like to start seeing that happen when we're resurfacing roads or new construction areas. For instance, there's one that's being a new housing area right off of Bradley, just down the street from Newport. I don't know if the city's designated yet whether they're going to use green painted lines for the bike paths, bike roads, because I know we've been using white, and then I'm noticing some green here and there wherever there's new construction, but then it suddenly ends. We'd like to see the city commit to doing only green paint for those bike paths on the streets. The other thing is bike safety. with the e-bikes today, a lot of teenagers, a lot of young kids have these bikes, and they go fast. There's no helmets. I don't know what the policy is in the parks. They're doing wheelies on the streets, in the parking lots. And I'm not sure. I know that's something more the sheriff needs to address, but and the schools also. I think that needs to be addressed. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Bianco.
Bill Adams, followed by Grace Ivanelli.
Good evening. My name is Bill Adams. I live at 26600 Cherry Hills Boulevard in Sun City. I would just like to see the city be more bicycle and pedestrian friendly. Quite a few places where there is no place for bikes to go and for pedestrians to go. And that is really what I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Adams.
Grace Ivanelli, followed by Wes.
Good evening. I'm Grace Ivanelli. I live in Sun City, also 26380 Cedar Crest Drive. And I sent this letter to most of the people here, and so you have all this information that we've been asking for. Our bike club meets once a week, and on the weekends, sometimes we go far away because there's not a really long bike path here. We usually ride the bike path here on a Tuesday. But if you could, if someday you could connect the two paths, the Paloma Wash and the Salt Creek, that would make for a nice route. I think people would come from other places here and spend money in the stores and restaurants to use that path. And also, there's if you're going down Bradley at the new development where they just put in all those houses that they're building, that's a nice place to go to turn onto Rio Vista or Park Avenue to get down to Avenida de Cortez and then turn and get over to Newport. So again, bicyclists going into this town center to buy things and, go to restaurants and things. We could take a bike ride along that path. So from the Salt Creek to Bradley to Rio Vista, make a left, and then head over down to Newport instead of going all the way down Bradley, which is dangerous to get onto Newport. We want to avoid the main streets because those are for the cars. But if we have a stop sign or some kind of a safer way to turn onto Rio Vista off of Bradley, where that new development went in, because right now, we're with the cars. There's no bike lane. And when Alan spoke, he said, to put more green paint. And I think we all agree in the bike club, we want green paint along all the roads, but especially the main ones that connect to Salt Creek. So Bradley, Marietta, Normandy, Getz, and Antelope, all, you can get on and off the bike path from those roads. So if you have, green paint for a little bit and then it ends, and the cars think that they can just, take over. So if the green paint goes all the way down those roads, it would be a lot more fun for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ivanelli.
Wes.
I'm Waz Wasallen. I live at 26380 Cedar Crest Drive. And I'd like to thank all of you commissioners for making the island on Cherry Hills Boulevard shine in the eyes of all the residents of Sun City. You guys, your work crews are doing a hell of a job bringing that into a beautiful sight along the boulevard. And I sure appreciate that, and I'm sure all of our bike members, club members appreciate that. So thank you. I tip my hat to you. I'm just more interested in the safety of the folks, safety of the community. And we need to separate bikers from pedestrians, from folks in wheelchairs, from strollers, just from, guys that ride the board, skateboards. We used to have roller skates, now they're skateboards. Yeah, and all we need to do is just divide the bike lane from the folks that are walking, pushing strollers, pushing wheelchairs. And I don't know how to control skateboarders, but I'm sure that you guys have a better handle on that. And that's what I'd like to emphasize, the safety that's involved. And again, applaud you for the island being such a spirited place to drive across or drive along. Thanks again.
Thank you, Mr. Wozniak. Any other speakers, Madam Clerk?
Yeah, we have no more speakers.
I just want to take a minute and thank the Sun City Bicycle Club for being here tonight. I actually had the pleasure of going out on a ride with them a few weeks ago, which I was going to report on later, but for their benefit, and so they don't have to sit through the whole meeting if they don't desire. That I appreciate their desire to be able to share their concerns. And I just want y'all to know, too, that I know the mayor watches the recordings of these proceedings, and so do other members of the city council, too. So your voices will be heard beyond just this meeting, as well as the notes that we are taking now, too. But thank you so much for being here tonight with us. Before you leave, there's one thing I think I'm just going to take a minute to mention because it's important to you. I know that the city is actually working on an ordinance, a new ordinance on bicycle safety, especially targeting e-bikes as well too. And I know a presentation is going to be made to the city council, I think maybe next month, I think, Ms. Mitchell, I believe.
I believe they're targeting May 5th. March 5th.
March 5th, correct. So keep an eye out for that for city council. But there was an awesome effort taken today by Menifee Unified Union School District. They had two meetings today, one this morning and one actually going on right now at the school district headquarters right across the street. You might be able to catch the last piece of it. And it was in conjunction with the Menifee Police Department. And they had, for the very discussion of e-bike safety, our children, all the things that you guys brought to attention of the commission here today. And they highlighted a new e-bike safety online training program that's live now on, if you go to Menifee Police Department website, Menifee Police Department, menifeepolice.org. I'm not sure what the URL is, but if you just Google Menifee Police Department and you go to their website, right on the front page, you'll see a link to taking the e-bike safety course. And at the end of the course, and it's based on a highway patrol program, and they're tweaking it to meet our needs too. And right now it's kind of focused for adults, but they're hoping to work with the schools to be able to make that a youth oriented as well too. But you get a nice little certificate. I took the course myself today, and you print out a certificate, and you have to write your name in. But I can print one out for you last too, and put your name in there. But it's great because it's specifically targeted to e-bikes, and the whole goal is safety for our children, safety for adults, safety for the drivers who are have all these near misses with children and stuff. So it's an important issue. It's something that the school district and the police department are very aware of, and they're making efforts in partnership with the city and the surrounding cities, because Menifee Union School District covers parts of Paris and Murrieta as well. So they're working with those other cities as well to develop a comprehensive program, a safety program, an educational program for our youth. Just wanted to make you aware of that before you left today. Thank you again for being here. Okay, we're at item number 9, discussion items. 9.1, committee appointments. We have a couple of vacancies on the Parks, Recreation, Trails Commission committees, seats, and city groups. And so, Ms. Mariana Mitchell is going to lead us on that.
Good evening, Commissioners. Yes, so we have before us what we typically do at the beginning of every year is take a look at our current existing committees and the participation of our commissioners on each of these committees. So we have a couple vacancies, and then also wanted to make a note that we have a couple committees that we're no longer appointing commissioners to. One being the Menifee Citizens Advisory Committee, which is now a City Council appointed committee, and then the Complete Streets Plan Project Advisory Committee, which we had last year. That project is now completed as of July 2024. So with that, I'd appreciate if the Commission could consider, we have a vacancy on the Teen Award Selection, which is a quarterly awards meeting where we get nominees from various adults throughout the city of Menifee who nominate some of their accomplished youth, our teens, for consideration and recognition at city council meetings. So those do happen on a quarterly basis, our winter, spring, and fall, as well as the Teen of the Year award. So the time commitment is typically about 3 to 4 meetings a year in order to make those selections. We do have our Amphitheater Ad Hoc Committee that is still currently meeting, and we have 2 commissioners already appointed to that, but it's up for commission for consideration. And then also our Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy Committee, which is typically an annual meeting. So the commitment to that is relatively limited as well. And then we also have our Riverside County Transportation, RCTC, Menifee Specialized Transit Working Group. That's a really long name. And this is part of the grant that we received about 2 years ago from RCTC to enhance our offerings for senior transportation, senior and disabled transportation throughout Menifee, which allowed us to partner with Caravan, which offers free transportation for our seniors, and then also Go Grandparent, which is that additional supporting program that is kind of a concierge service for our seniors to call an 800 number, utilize Uber and Lyft, which we're still trying to promote because it looks like there's a little bit of wariness about utilizing the service. So 4 free rides for a senior. If you know, please sign them up for our service. But that work group is still in existence because the grant is still in existence. We have this grant through 2026. And so we do anticipate that as we get closer to getting more information about what we're able to accomplish with the grant funds, we'll reconvene with this group to talk about next steps. So those are our committees that we would like commissioners to review. And then also as a part of the staff report, we provided additional information regarding the Brown Act, just to bring an awareness of the fact that, we do have to be aware whenever 3 or more commissioners are in a single meeting, that could constitute a quorum. So want to be wary of those off-site meetings or communications, and just, ensure that we're working on city business and in these public settings. So that's just a little reminder. And so with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to the Commission.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mitchell. So, Commissioners, anybody want to change any of their assignments that are currently? You may not have had a chance to do anything. Mo, have you been to one of those meetings yet?
I have not. Okay. So I was going to say, I think my name is in every box. So I really do like the 2 that I'm involved in, so I'd love to stay in that. But if someone wants to hop in and be an alternate for some of the other ones instead of myself, I'm more than happy to step aside as well.
Tom?
I'd be interested in the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy Committee
Okay.
as the alternate.
As an alternate? Okay. That's a good race. I'd, well, you're, okay, very good. I would certainly like to be on, take that vacancy on the Teen Awards Selection Committee, because my assignments are, you see my name is not on there, but, because I was part of the MCAC, which was dissolved, unless somebody else has a desire to be there. And Laz, are you okay staying on the amphitheater ad hoc? And
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
a lot going on with that right now too, isn't there? Okay, so with the addition of Faust on the Teen Awards and the change of alternate on the CEDS committee to Mr. Gidroyce, I think that's all the changes that we need. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Let's move on to item 10 then, Community Services Department updates.
All right, I'll be giving these Community Services Department updates. We do have a number of things that we want to make sure the Commission is aware of. I know a while back we kind of emailed out looking for availability for a joint workshop with City Council and the Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission to focus in on the Menifee Community Center, and this is the design of the center. So that is set for next Thursday, February 13th at 5 p.m. here at City Council chambers in City Hall. And the Commission, along with City Council, will be reviewing some updated information on some designs and giving some additional feedback regarding the architecture, both interior and exterior, in order to keep this project moving forward as we continue to hone in on the community needs and ensuring that those needs are met through this community center. After that, we also wanted to make sure our commissioners are reminded of the annual requirements of being a commissioner, which include the annual Form 700 form, which should be emailed out to you through NetFile. We also have, for those of you who it's been more than 2 years, the AB 1234 ethics training that is available online, as well as AB 1661 anti-harassment training. So those are just a little bit of housekeeping, and if you need information on any one of those trainings or the form, we'd be happy to get you in contact with the city clerk's office who administers that information. And last but not least, just wanted to give a brief update on fiscal year 24-25. Yesterday at City Council, they had a special workshop at 4 o'clock to review our mid-year update. Typically, the mid-year is considered just a fine-tuning of the existing budget, so there aren't a whole lot of changes or adaptations that happen at this point. But for community services in general, we did have a few updates for us, particularly in our staffing. We were able to get an additional funding to right-size the part-time salaries for our part-time staff, who are essentially our bread and butter for our recreation programming. So there was a minimum wage increase, and we wanted to make sure that we could take care of compaction issues that go along with that minimum wage increase. And then also a city executive team as well as city council have approved a full-time community services director for our position, recognizing the need for executive leadership. So we anticipate that more information on that will become available in the near future. And then also a number of other items related to our special districts. We got some additional funding to work on the turf at Centennial, cover some deficits in our utility funds, and also ensure that we're able to keep our parks and facilities maintained to the standard of the city. So those are the pertinent items related to our department, but there were a number of other things that happened. And I encourage you, if you weren't there or didn't have an opportunity to watch it, it's a great learning experience to see the mid-year budget in process and kind of in anticipation for what the next 2 years in our upcoming biennial budget will look like. So that concludes my Community Services Department updates.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. I noticed originally they were talking about having Planning Commission as part of that joint workshop, but they've changed their mind on that.
Planning Commission is invited to attend the workshop and provide input, but we really wanted to focus on availability of our Parks, Recreation, Trails Commission and City Council.
Any questions to Ms. Mitchell on 10.1? Okay, 10.2, Parks and Progress update.
All right, so I will take this on. Bryce is not here with us. He's a little under the weather. So I'll do my very best Bryce impression. So we're talking about our Parks in Progress, and this map might look familiar. Wanted to let you know that the ones that are highlighted in green are essentially the ones that we believe are the 2 closest parks that might be coming on within this next year. So we have Valor Park, which is just south of Banner Village Park. That designs have been approved and construction is scheduled to start sometime in February, hopefully, weather permitting, and we do anticipate that ribbon cutting will be something we'll be participating in this year. And then we also have Cimarron Ridge, which is in the north side, over off of Getz Road, that is under final plan review. And so we do anticipate that one will probably be closer to the end of the year, if not early winter 2026, just based on construction schedules. But most of the other parks are still under plan review or some phase of design review, and we can definitely bring back some additional information on, refresh your memory on what these parks might look like that are coming in the next year at our next meeting. That concludes my report for that.
Okay, any questions on Parks and Progress?
Oops.
Okay, thank you. 10.3, Solid Waste and Recycling update.
I'm going to keep going. So solid waste and recycling updates, just want to point out we have a few things coming up. So we are still trying to reach out to our business community and our residents regarding solid waste and recycling and the number of opportunities available to them to either get education or outreach regarding some of the requirements through SB 1383, which is our organics recycling program. We are working with Waste Management to kind of take a look at what contamination means when it comes to our residential customers for waste management, to ensure that people are sorting things in the right bins, what goes in the green bin when we talk about organics and recycling, food waste, grass clippings, our blue bins, which are typically the dry recycling, so paper goods, cardboard, plastic and aluminum, and then of course the landfill, which is typically the black bin. So we're going to be hosting a workshop at the Case Center Senior Center on April 15th at 12:30, and again, that's just to give people an opportunity to learn more about the sorting process and ensure that we're monitoring our contamination, because as we know, the state of California and CalRecycle are monitoring our progress. So we want to be able to ensure that we're diverting the right amount of waste and constantly increasing towards the goals that the state have set for us. And then last but not least, we have our next bulky item pickup event, drop-off event. That's going to be happening on Saturday, February 15th at Mount San Jacinto College. This event does start at 8 a.m. and goes until 12 p.m. or until bins are full. This is one of our larger events, which means that we will be accepting e-waste as well as limited tires. There's a maximum of 4 per vehicle, tires, no rims, and we also will be giving away free mulch to residents. You must bring your own container to scoop and go. But this is going to be at MSJC, and we encourage anybody who's looking to do some of that spring cleaning, come on out and join us, and we'll be happy to take it off your hands. So that concludes solid waste and recycling. Yes.
By chance, do you guys collaborate with the youth leaders of Menifee? Because I know they have a green team. I'm not sure how involved they are with this aspect of what we're doing in the city.
Yes, we do work with them, and the green team typically does participate in a lot of our park ranger programs when it comes to stewardship, and so that's a really great connection, and youth leaders of Menifee are out at a lot of our events.
Thank you. Any other questions on this item? Thank you. 10.4, Recreation Division update. Ms. Gabby Cow.
Hello, Gabby Cow, Community Services Supervisor overseeing Recreation. Here is an overview of our January attendance numbers. We are wrapping up our winter season of classes and programs, and I'd like to highlight, as I mentioned earlier, the spike in our sports league attendance with the start of our youth basketball league at Santa Rosa Academy. Next is our revenue for the month of January. Our department did see quite a bit of revenue increases due to our winter break camp and field trip. Additionally, even though we didn't host any special events in the month of January, our special events and our recreation team is constantly out there doing outreach, and as you can see, we are already getting a head start on recruiting sponsorships for the year. In terms of programming, our Case Santa Sarah Senior Center is as busy as ever. This week, we did start our 2025 AARP tax preparation services. It is by appointment only on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 1 p.m. We have a resource table with the theme of mental health to be hosted by our Riverside University Health Systems on Tuesday, February 11th. We have Loteria, which is Spanish bingo, taking place on February 13th. Our monthly transportation workshop is taking place on February 20th, along with our monthly food box distribution at La Ladera Park on Thursday, February 27th. And last but certainly not least, on the same day, we will also have a MilVet veteran resource presentation. And just to note, all of our veteran presentations are actually open to veterans, active service members, and their dependents. As the Central Park Amphitheater construction progresses, we are reaching out to our residents to obtain feedback for our future programming. So we do have flyers and signs with QR codes linking to an online survey for convenience, but also hard copies are available at all of our CSD facilities and our events. As you can see, we are having a return of our community gardening program. This is free to participate in, and plots are available to individuals, families, and organizations. For more information or to submit an application, residents are encouraged to visit the Case Santa Sarah Senior Center.
Ms. Cal, could you just expand on that last community garden just a bit? How many plots are actually available, and what's the typical size?
I believe we have 12 plots available, 2 different sizes. Off the top of my head, I want to say 4 by 4 and 4 by 6. A couple of them are different heights as well, and so whatever is more compatible with those that need access to it. We are taking applications first come, first serve. It's free, and we'll reassess every year, and we'll also have a wait list that we can draw from as well.
Awesome, thank you so much. Any questions on Recreation Division updates? Okay, let's move on to special events.
We do have Parents' Night Out taking place on February 14th. That is full. However, we do have a teen option, so that allows teens to come hang out. We'll have pizza, games, and cookie art. Additionally, we are getting ready for our President's Week camp that is available to grades kindergarten through 5th. There will be arts and crafts, group games, sports, and more. There's an optional field trip taking place that Wednesday to Disneyland. We do have some space available, so we encourage residents to register. This coming Saturday, we have our annual Ready, Set, Future taking place at Lazy Creek Recreation Center. This is a free event with lunch provided for free by Raising Cane's. We will have college and career booths, some learning sessions, fun activities, and performances from our local high school groups. Next up, we have our art affair. For February, we are celebrating Black History Month. We will have food, photography, sculptures, canvas, you name it. We're always looking for additional artists, so if anyone is interested in displaying their artwork, they are asked to reach out to our senior center staff. And then coming up in March, very quickly, is our 3rd annual Wildlife Appreciation Day. This year, it will be taking place at Banner Village Park on March 8th from 8 to 1 p.m. And then if you have any additional questions about upcoming special events, they are listed on our special events website.
Any questions, commissioners? Will there be other food vendors at the Wildlife Appreciation Day this year?
Yes, there should be food vendors there as well.
Okay. That was a fun time last year. We coupled that last year with dedicating the park, didn't we? At
Quartz Ranch.
Quartz Ranch.
Correct.
That was awesome. Thank you. Okay, let's go to 10.6 CIP program update. Ms. Mitchell.
All right, so we've got a number of CIP projects that are in various parts of progress. And so just a few of them that I wanted to highlight on this slide are things like, I know that some people, I've had some questions recently about Evans Park North, which is the parcel of land that's right above the Gail Webb Pump Track, or Action Sports Park and Pump Track. And that's currently in the environmental phase where we're kind of nearing a point to where we can take a look at the type of opportunities of options that can be placed on that park site, and then also looking at some of the available funding through the California State Parks for potential grant opportunities to bring that one forward. So we're hoping to have more information on that in the future, but it's working in the background. So another thing we wanted to point out is that we have a couple that have completed for the park lighting for Calle Tomas, which has been complete, and we anticipate that the additional lighting in the pump track to start as far as being implemented in the month of February. So I believe we're waiting on some delivery of some items, and we should see some work on that in the next month. A couple other things, we'll have a couple slides that have a few pictures on the Central Park Amphitheater, as well as a street median over on Cherry Hills that was mentioned a little bit earlier by a resident. So I'll have more information on that. And then also some of the other items are still in the design phase for Sun City Green Space and Park Development, and initially planning phases for public arts in the park. So look for more information on that in the future. And then just kind of moving forward, we have some lovely pictures of what's happening at Central Park for our amphitheater. Let's see. I do have some very specific details that Bryce wanted me to make sure that you had. Wanted to make sure that you knew that east and west pillars are complete and ready for the glue lamps, which are the compressed wood structures that are being prepared for the top of both the amphitheater and the storage in the back. The storage back wall is complete, and framing the interior is underway. Again, we anticipate that the glue lamps, which will be the top of these structures, to be coming in the month of March. And then we're still on schedule, again, to begin for delivery and storage, for delivery for the storage building in March. The planters, which are in front of the structure of the stage area, those are complete, and the back ramp, which is a portion of accessibility for both our performers and people who are looking to load and offload onto the stage, that is complete. So again, making our way through this project, and as Gabby mentioned, we are taking input from the public on what they want to see at this amphitheater. So we have the QR code for the survey, we have an online version, we've got a paper version, and you'll see this information out at all of our upcoming special events as well. So moving on, and here's the Cherry Hills Street Median that was mentioned a little bit earlier today. And essentially, it was the street median right in front of what the Cherry Hills Sun City Civic Association near the Cherry Hills Golf Course. And it was essentially just a plain, empty median. And we've now are working towards completing this project and installing what's considered artwork, because there is no irrigation in this median. So these are considered metal art sculptures that look similar to the surrounding drought-tolerant landscape in Sun City, and we're hoping to get that completed soon. So, and I believe that completes my report on our CIP projects.
Excellent. Any questions, commissioners, on CIP?
I just want to confirm the tree that we saw in the picture there, that is a sculpture, not a tree.
That is a sculpture. Mm-hmm.
I've got to say, I drove by there this morning and I saw it. It looks pretty good. It's really nice and clean.
We will share the praise with Bryce. He will very much appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, 10-7 Maintenance Division report.
All right, so a little bit about our maintenance division, which is always extremely busy. So as far as work orders that were submitted, we had 72 that were submitted for facilities, which are our facilities guys who maintain our city hall, the public works MOC, our police station, all of our community services facilities. Out of the 72 submitted, 69 were completed and 3 are still in progress. And then for our parks and right-of-ways, we have 376 completed, all but 11 have been completed with 5 have been completed with 5 that are currently in process. So again, we also wanted to point out as far as our trees inspections, we had a bit of a windstorm recently, and so our staff went out there and inspected over 292 trees, and we came out of it pretty good. So a lot of our trees are still standing and very minimal impact to the city's tree system. Then we have some additional information, just kind of visualizing some of this, the data that we provided. You can see the vast majority of the January work orders were are surrounded about our park maintenance. And you can see that the parks that have the most work orders are typically our parks that are the most used. So that would be Audie Murphy Ranch, Centennial, and Mayfield. So just so that you have the information in comparison to all of our parks and the typical work that's being done or had been done in the month of January. And then last but not least, we have our park ranger program, who has been really busy. Despite the cold weather, they had the opportunity to visit our parks just under 500 times in the month of January, worked 2 hours with our Adopt a Trail volunteers, and however, during the break, didn't have the opportunity for any school outreach events. But we are looking to promote our Adopt a Trail program in our upcoming Menifee Matters, as well as trying to make sure that the residents are aware of that information, and it's an opportunity to get out and ensure our trails are beautiful and clean and extremely usable is what we want. So I believe that concludes the Maintenance Division report. If there's any questions.
Any questions, commissioners? Glass?
Similar to what Councilmember Carwin was at, or Mayor Pro Tem Carwin was asking yesterday from the police chief for, I believe it was age groups for, arrests. There was like I don't remember what the age groups were, but they wanted it broken down a little bit more so that they could see the different age groups and then what they're being arrested for, for each different group. If we could possibly have, for let's say the top 3 or maybe 4 of our parks, and then just see the work orders broken down for each one of those top 4, top 3, I think that'd be really kind of nice to see that, especially for, like Centennial, AMR.
Okay, I think that's something we could do by sorting through the information, and you're talking about like the bar graph. I'll pull it back up.
Just the top 4, top 3. You know what I mean? We don't need to see like everybody, but
yeah, I think that's something that's manageable.
Very informative, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I had just a couple of questions. When does the Ranger Campfire program start up again?
That's going to be coming back this summer.
It's a summertime, okay, summer only. And then I remember from last night's mid-year budget review, there was something was mentioned about Centennial Park turf replacement. Was that?
Yes.
Was that the issue? That's
yes.
Not a very old park. What?
No. It's not a very old park, but it's a very heavily used park. Our multi-purpose field does get used a lot. And so because of that, we are looking at replacing the turf out there to something that's more adept to multiple users and would require less water and things of that nature to ensure that it can sustain that much of a use.
What's the optimum window to do that so we're not interfering with sport teams and all that stuff? Is there any
I'm going to turn this over to Nancy.
Yeah, I actually did have this conversation with Jeanette today in regards to scheduling. So we're going to try to do right at towards the end of the allocation period, those transition weeks. Hopefully towards the end of the school year, like the June transition when everybody's kind of finishing up their program. So we're going to try to hit the least used weeks. We're going to do our best.
So the least impact then, huh?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you for all those reports, staff. We're now at item 11, Commissioner reports on committee activities. Commissioners, if you've had anything, we didn't meet in January, so anything from December through today, if you'd like to report on any activities? Les, go ahead.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Christmas tree lighting ceremony happened.
It was after our last meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to double check on that. Yeah, and it was magical as always. A lot of fun for the kids, a lot of fun for the families, the vendors. I mean, it's just such a beautiful event, and yeah, hats off to the city for putting that one on. let's see, we've got Breakfast with Santa. As usual, that one is a classic hit for the children. They love it. Let's see, we've got, well, the last MCAC meeting, the Citizens Advisory Committee. It was actually kind of a cool one. We got to discuss the Citizen of the Year, which went to our beloved Gloria Sanchez. And that was very cool to see her get that. The Amphitheater Ad Hoc Committee, just going through, trying to figure out what's going on and, how we can program and get some, events scheduled and, more seasonal things and more regular things and just working through that process, getting things ready to go for our grand opening. And then last but not least, I guess, we've got the Adoptive Sports Fair that happened on Saturday, which was a very cool event and had some fun playing Frisbee golf. And bocce ball. I learned to play bocce ball, so lots of fun.
Thank you. Any other commissioner reports?
Hello. I feel like a lot has happened in like 1 month. So similar to Laz, I was able to go to the Adaptive Sports Fair, and I didn't go as a commissioner, even though, do you ever really take all the hats off? So I was able to talk, even with people within my organization, about the things that were going on. I'm like, oh, you didn't know about the amphitheater? You didn't know about the community center that's being built? And they're like, no, we had no clue. So it gave me an opportunity to educate some people about what's going on in the city that they can take advantage of once it starts opening up. Because I think this is a good thing, but no one even realized construction for the amphitheater. I'm like, well, that's good, because usually that's always problematic. I was able to sit on the committee for that, which was really informative. And you really don't think about all the logistical pieces as far as like parking, how far they're going to walk, and then really try to explain to the community, hey, yeah, you may feel like you're parked far across the street, but that's no different than parking halfway down the Target parking lot. And so we got into a lot of good dialogue that got me really thinking about, all of these logistical things, and also the economic benefits and just life that it brings to the city. So I'm super excited for that. I was able to sit on the voting for the Teen of the Quarter, which I think that they get acknowledged on the 3rd of March. But every quarter, it's so exciting to see how much some of these youth are doing at such a young age, and even like the barriers that they encounter, just trying to survive like the rest of us. But that was a great experience. I just recently passed, and what else did I do? I don't know. It's like trying to remember it all. But no, it's been really great, and it's been nice being in this role, because it really does force you to be present in the community. I told a colleague recently, I'm like, you don't have to be an activist, you just have to be active. And that's one of those things that keeps me going and excited to see the next steps, even with our parks. So, yeah.
Thank you.
So I did the Christmas event, the tree lighting. I ran into Mr. Faust. I was there a little bit late that day, but I was happy to see how that event is growing and how many people are taking advantage and participating. The vendors, there was tons of vendors, a lot of food. I thought it was just great. I participated. I came to that meeting that you talked about where Ms. Sanchez was awarded. I thought it was interesting. We live in a community that's it's small, but at the same time it's pretty big, and not everybody has access to all of the news information or stuff that we share with people. I met a lady who was sitting here up front with me, and we talked about her pets and her dogs, and she says she takes her dog down to Loma Linda to a dog park. She wasn't aware of the dog park that we have here, the newly enhanced dog park, and I think she lives in Sun City, so she was really excited to hear about that. And yeah, it's nice to be able to share with people stuff that we pick up from here. I read earlier this week, it probably has nothing to do with PRTC, but Menifee Police Department, they're having an event, I think next week and the week after, the Blue Envelope event. You guys heard of that? For children with special needs, and I think that's something that's going to be really good. I'm gonna participate. I RSVP and plan on going to that and learning more about, what they're going to do with this blue envelope idea, and hopefully it'll be beneficial. I understand it would be. I understood it to be for the people actually driving vehicles get pulled over. They hand over an envelope to the police officer, and they understand that the person has a disability. I'm curious to see, being the father of a 26-year-old autistic son who has who's nonverbal, to see if it'll also represent the person in the vehicle rather than just the driver. But anyway, I look forward to that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. I was able to attend also the Christmas tree lighting, and it's just one of the premier events of the city. It just was such a wonderful job that staff did. It was a lot of fun and super well attended. I also am very appreciative that the city was able to work out doing a menorah lighting with the temple in Temecula again, and I appreciate staff coming in during the holidays, their holiday week, to make sure that no one fell off a ladder. And but that was a nice little fun multicultural event for the city. I also attended the January 6th MCAC and got to help select our Citizen of the Year, Gloria Sanchez. That was a wonderful experience. And I did, by invitation, attend the Sun City Bicycle Club, one of their Tuesday morning meetings, and I actually went on a ride with them too. It was freezing cold because they meet at 8 o'clock. But I rode my bike to the Sun City Civic Center, and I had to defrost my face before I could join them in the meeting. But they're a wonderful group that, as I said, ride every Tuesday throughout the city, and then once a month they drive off somewhere off in the distance to take a long-term. And so they had a lot of questions for me about bike lanes and stuff, and I invited them to come and express their concerns to the commission, so it kind of would go on record and for us. And so that was wonderful that they came out today. I attended the ethics training on January 29th, which was the most fun way to do a painful thing. A lot better than sitting in front of your computer for 2 hours. And I also attended the special workshop last night, the mid-year budget review, and got to see Mr. Gidroyce get sworn in as our newest commissioner. That was awesome. And then, as I mentioned this morning, I attended the Menifee Union School District's e-bike safety seminar with the superintendent, which was wonderful to see that we're making great progress with the city and the police department, partnering with the schools to make sure that our children are safer on the roads, and parents are educated too on. And there's just been a major surge in the last year of accidents. I think we went from six accidents in 2023 to like 14 or 16 last year. So, and I'm sure we've all been aware of the increased number of e-bikes that kids are riding on our streets, and there needs to be a lot of education. So the police department's actually, they're taking the lead on making sure that we have a program to educate our kids rather than just going out there and inciting people right away. Thank you. Item 12, future agenda requests. Any future agenda request items, commissioners?
I have a few. So after being at the Adaptive Fair, this was the second year I attended it. It's really eye-opening, especially I have a child with disabilities, that, a lot of sports programs, which are very enriching for children, are inclusive to these kids. I know when we apply for field allocation, or we give organizations field allocation, they ask several questions about residency and are we serving our residents? But are there any questions, or can there be questions in relationship to the number of youth with disabilities that they're serving as well?
Currently, that question isn't a part of the application process, but that's something we can definitely review. Our future agenda items, we do have an item for the field and facility use user fees, which could also be a part of that conversation on the priorities that are set. And we anticipate bringing that back in April to the commission for review, so we can incorporate that into that item if you'd like.
Okay, and then, thank you. And then, another thing that was brought to my attention, and this is just talking with people in the community, is indoor sports space. Because I know the community center is not for sports, if I'm recalling properly. It wasn't for like basketball or anything like that. But I'm not sure if that's something that can be considered in the future as we are expanding as a city. I'm not sure what that dialogue or process would possibly look like, but if they possibly can establish more community center space that is also allocated for sports and different types of sports that people in the community like to do.
Yeah, no, I might have skipped over it, but because it's still in design and it's still in progress. But the Cantalina Park, which is a future park, we are looking at making sure that that is a sports-oriented community center, more like a gymnasium in the future to complement what we already have existing or in the works. But we can definitely take into account, and we do refer back to the Parks Master Plan to kind of identify what our deficits are and try and meet those needs. But the one that's currently in progress would likely be Cantalina.
Okay. And then my last, hopefully future agenda item, I had brought it up a while ago, but I'm not sure if anything has happened with it. Because one thing that I noticed was a theme just like on social media and on the community, specifically more towards like our high school age youth, was accessible walking paths to and from school for both walking and like bikes. And if I'm recalling properly, I know a different division like oversees that, but I'm not sure if we were able to speak with them to see if they can give us some insight or the progression or what their plan is to just
Yes.
ensure those
Like
paths.
safe streets or the
Active transportation
active-
plan and the
yeah.
complete streets, both of those plans target safe walking routes for students. And that's our Public Works Division and CIP who manage that, since we build parks, they build infrastructure like streets and roadways and things of that nature. So if you would like an update, a verbal update, or to see where they're at in those progress, that's something that if that's a motion and we get a second, we can invite them to join one of our meetings to present that information.
Yeah, and especially more in alignment with like walking or biking trails that's accessible, because I know we've had even children trying to get to Liberty High School get hit, and with the traffic and congestion that all schools have in the morning, for me that's always a main concern, especially when a lot of the high schools, they don't offer busing within a certain mileage, so the kids have to use our trails, our sidewalks, the biking lanes. So I think it would be.
I would second, if you make a motion to that, to have an update from, it's Jenny
McConville and
McConville.
Carlos Geronimo, yeah.
Yes, if they could give us an update. In fact, I emailed her about that very same thing, just about, wanting to connect master plan versus ATP and projects and things, so.
Yeah, and I think those are both very timely discussions as we go into the next two-year budget discussions. I know that there's going to be several workshops with City Council to go over priorities for the capital improvement projects in the next 2 years, as well as our department in general also looking at what priorities PRTC has for us moving forward as well. So those will be very timely conversations.
Definitely. So I will second your request to have an update.
Okay. Do I
And the
need
next,
a motion?
Yeah, just make a motion.
If I can make a motion to get an update on that.
ATP
And complete streets.
incomplete streets plans.
Yes, okay.
Thank you for a future agenda item. I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And then hopefully it'll also support all other biking and whatnot, like just transportation, because yes, we use our trails, but it almost is like intermixed, because it's one mode of transport or several modes of transportation. So, but that was my last little bit, so I'll pass on.
Thanks. I've been thinking the same thing, so. Any
Well, to
other?
piggyback onto
Yeah.
what we were just talking about, having heard the bicycle club speak to us, I'd like to have someone liaison with them and agendize the items that they brought to our attention, and then ask engineering and possibly Public Works to come and speak to us to address those things, see if we've not only done our legal diligence, but also to see what we can do to help out those situations they've pointed out to us. If we could have that in a meeting, perhaps a representative from engineering come and talk to us, once we actually know what the items are and they've had a chance to investigate them.
Yeah, and in the current ATP, it references the priorities in the Parks Master Plan. And so I was trying to get a feel for where are we on getting those projects implemented. And one of the top ones was, bike lanes.
Yeah, and we are trails, so
Yes.
it fits.
Yes, and which speaks to what our guests were concerned about as well. I'm personally am concerned too. I rode my bike across town over the Holland Bridge just this last week, and there's parts where you feel safe and parts where you don't feel safe when you're riding on the streets.
I have a question about the trails. E-bikes are not allowed, right, on trails? On the Salt Creek Trail?
No, technically, no motorized items, or modes of transportation are allowed on the Salt Creek Trail, so that would include e-bikes.
Isn't it up to each jurisdiction to decide upon that?
I,
As I recall,
I'm not
the
sure.
city or whoever has control of that trail gets to decide whether to allow them or not, as I recall.
but I do believe that our ordinance, although it is a county supervised trail, the last conversation we had about whether or not motorized vehicles, which e-bikes are considered, they were not allowable on the Salt Creek Trail.
So we need to put
I'd sure
signage
like-
up to say this is not allowed.
Could you research that, Ms. Mitchell? Because I don't think that's correct, but I ride my e-bike on Salt Creek Trail all the time, and I see lots of e-bikes on the trail. Doesn't mean it's legal, but I'd like to be, I've never seen any signs posted that it's not.
Right, at least.
Okay, I could definitely,
Could you?
Narrow that down.
yeah, we could definitely look into that and ensure we have the correct information.
Yes, I know you can ride your e-bike, I just asked the police this morning, you can ride your e-bike on the sidewalk, you just have to give pedestrians the right of way, and you could be cited if you don't, if you're mowing down pedestrians, but, because that was my concern, in areas where I didn't feel safe riding on my bike on the street, because it was one-lane streets and it's heavily used, that we were riding on the sidewalks, and they said, no, that's legal. And if it's legal on the sidewalks, on a multi-use trail like Salt Creek, I can't imagine them, especially if it's Class 1 or Class 2, which can only go up to 20 miles per hour. So
Well, expanding on that, we have other trails around town too, so we really do have to have a policy regarding trails overall.
I'd like to know what we have in writing currently. That'd be great.
One last question.
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to open a can of worms with that one. Cantalina Park, where's that going to be?
Cantalina is going to be in the south end, so closer to, let's see. if
It's
I can-
way over on the, Catalina is number 4, south end,
Yes.
down south of Garbani.
Okay.
See if I
Isn't
can
it
pull
south?
that
I
up
think
again.
that's south of Garbani. Or somewhere near, around that Garbani and Antelope.
Yes, it's
in that general-
number 4, yes. Mhm.
Okay. Got it, thank you.
Yeah, right there.
Do you know the acreage of that location? Sorry, I know it's probably a Bryce question, but
Yeah, I think off the top of my head, I want to say it's close to 10, but I don't know for sure.
We can have Bryce next month give us, maybe pull up the plot plan again with us.
We don't have a plot plan for that yet. That's something that's still in the works, so we're still working with the developer on what
Oh, that's
ultimately it's
conceptual
gonna be.
design still. That's
Yes.
correct. Okay.
Yeah, but that will definitely come before PRTC for approval.
Well, circling back to what I was talking about since our bicycle visitors, I wonder if we could somehow put together a package, not only involving what you've just spoke about, but an agenda item where we will have a clear picture of what the city is doing about these needs.
That would be part of our request for Ms. McConnell. Yeah, so I think that we can incorporate that into this agenda, future agenda item request. It'll be very timely. Go ahead, Laz.
I know this isn't necessarily a future agenda request, but the bales of hay that they use to make the little snow thing at the Christmas tree lighting, they could use about a dozen more bales, because I think last year, not last year, but in 23, it was higher and shorter, and then in 24, it was longer and not as high. So they need it to be as long as 24 and as high as 23. Just to add, to the excitement and fun.
Note taken.
Well, and speaking of bicycles, because this is kind of the forefront of a lot of safety concerns, especially for our youth, I'd like us to consider the feasibility of having like some kind of a bicycle safety fair that the community services put on. I know the school district did one last fall, I believe, but it would be great if, especially once this new ordinance is adopted, and with the police department's new effort to educate, I think it would be great to have something like that.
Would that be for all ages?
All ages, yes.
So is that a future agenda item request, or is that something that we could potentially address when we come back in March and we talk about our current budget and programming for the new biennial budget?
Yeah, I guess it would be a potential event that we could add during the budget review.
Okay, so we can definitely, for March, include that in that process.
So in March's meeting, it sounds like we're going to get a little glimpse of the proposed events and things for the next fiscal biennial budget.
Yes, for the month of March, we're looking at giving an update on where we stand for the Parks Master Plan progress on the recommended action items. And then we're also going to take a look at our capital improvement program and some potential future items that we've had conversations about in previous meetings. And then also from a budgetary standpoint, any new or improved or changed items regards to recreation programming, so that we're preparing for our upcoming biennial budget process, which would include workshops with City Council, and that we can move forward some recommendations from the Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission to City Council for consideration.
This would include scheduling community events as well, too.
Yes, we can definitely talk through that.
Yeah, because I am concerned that at least tentatively, a couple events are being scheduled back to back: Fall Festival and Day of the Dead on a Friday night and then a Saturday night. And my concern, commissioners, is that public burnout, having two major popular events, one right after the other. Even setting up on Friday for Fall Festival, there's a lot of nonprofits and organizations that would have to take out the day off work to get up to set up early. On a Friday night, people don't get home from work till late. I just think it's not something we should do. We should still keep those events separated, and even keeping Day of the Dead, actually moving it to the first Saturday in November, which is traditionally Day of the Dead. So something we can talk about more in detail next month. But I wanted to make you aware of it. Okay, any other comments or questions of staff or future agenda item requests? Hearing none, then I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
All right, this meeting's adjourned at 7:19. Thank you very much, staff, for your time. And commissioners.